Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Siti Nur Fatihah binti Muhammad Taufiq Yap and my metric number is AS11491. So last week, my friends and I, we received a request from a very successful farmer, Pak Abu. So he asked us to explain more detail about calcium phosphate in agriculture since he is considering on using calcium phosphate based product in his farming. So today, me and my friends, we will be explaining more detail regarding calcium phosphate in agriculture. Without further ado, let's start our presentation. So, calcium phosphate. Okay, so in earth crust, it is estimated to 0.2% that phosphorus is abundant and it usually occurs as a phosphate. Well, the example is calcium phosphate, which we will be talking about today, and my friends will be explaining more detail about it later on. Okay, so calcium phosphate is actually a calcium salt of phosphoric acid with a chemical formula of Ca3PO42, which is also known as calcium phosphate tripacid or tricalcium phosphate. So it contains calcium ions and inorganic phosphate anions, and then we will get calcium phosphate. It is usually used in agricultural field as fertilizer. And calcium phosphate is actually really important for plants. Next, you guys can see this is the calcium phosphate structure. Okay, and this is the example of calcium phosphate fertilizer. And it is in form of granules because calcium phosphate is actually derived from phosphate rock or bone, and it is insoluble in water but very soluble in acids. So my friends will be explaining more detail about calcium phosphate. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Importance of calcium phosphate in agriculture. Calcium phosphate is used to manufacture phosphate fertilizer. Fertilizer containing calcium phosphate is dissolved into soil water to form calcium ions and phosphate ions. Both of these ions are absorbed by the plants for various purposes. This diagram shows the role of calcium in crop production. Calcium is a micronutrient in plants. It is important to build strong cell walls for sturdier plants. Calcium ion is cross-linking with negatively charged carboxyl group in the middle lamella and also stabilize cell membrane through the interaction with phospholipid. Next, calcium also provides resistance against pathogens. The external application of calcium is beneficial for resistance of plant against pathogen. For example, tomato plant cultivated in nutrient solution with high calcium content show increased resistance against infection by bacteria. The bacteria colonize the xylem, causing the plants to wilt. Calcium ion may function in the cell wall to prevent invasion of pathogen. Lastly, calcium is able to improve water penetration. Soil with adequate amount of calcium tend to be more friable and have better water infiltration properties. This is because calcium displaces sodium in the soil, and with adequate leaching irrigations, it can help improve overall soil quality. So, this diagram shows the role of phosphorus in crop production. Phosphorus plays a series of functions in the plant metabolism and is one of the macronutrients required for plant growth and development. Phosphorus is important in storage and transfer of energy through the plant. Adenosine diphosphate and adenosine triphosphate are high-energy phosphate compounds that control most processes in plant, including photosynthesis, respiration, protein and nucleic acid synthesis, and nutrient transport through the plant cell. Next, phosphorus is an essential component of DNA, which contains the genetic data of all the living things. It is also a crucial part of the RNA, which reads the genetic code responsible for building of protein and other compounds required to form the structure of the plant. The structure of both DNA and RNA are linked by phosphorus. Phosphorus is also essential for seed production. Large quantities of phosphorus are found in the seed and fruit, where it is believed essential for seed formation and development. An adequate supply of phosphorus is essential to the development of new cells and to transfer the genetic code from one cell to another as new cells are formed. Phosphorus is also a component of phytin, a major storage form of phosphorus in seed. Lastly, phosphorus also promotes resistance to root disease. Plants that have access to enough phosphorus have the ability to resist disease because all their parts are well developed and grow quickly. Plants grown using hydroponics are supplied with enough phosphorus to ensure they grow well.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Fatihah binti Saifidin. I will present about deficiency of calcium phosphate. Deficiency of calcium. Calcium has important role in cellular signaling and strengthening cell wall. So deficiency will result in weaker tissues. It is transferred by water movement in the xylem and thus requires transpiration to reach young leaf and bulb. High relative humidity, low temperature, poor air circulation or any other condition that reduces transpiration, reduces uptake of water and therefore calcium content. Additionally, several cell chemistry factors limit Ca2+ availability such as high EC, unbalanced nutrient, low pH and low Ca2+ concentration. Deficiency of phosphorus. Phosphorus deficiency in plants can be visually identified at the early vegetative stage as an abnormally dark green or reddish purple color along the edge of the lower plant leaf. Most phosphorus deficiency are observed in early spring in low pH soil, pH less than 5, or in field with low soil test phosphorus value. Dry soil condition also can induce phosphorus deficiency in young plants. In high phosphorus soil, deficiency may be observed during cool temperatures, especially in early spring. Cool temperatures retard root growth and reduce the phosphorus uptake in plants. Symptoms diminish, however, as the soil warms up. Factors such as soil compaction, herbicide injury, insect pressure, and poor soil health also can cause phosphorus deficiency. Forsythia nutrient disorder, black wrinkles and leaf edge burn. Symptoms appear at the top of the plant. Young leaf may develop marginal leaf burn and distortion. Leaf edge may become necrotic. Typically, symptoms in young plants occur during period of overcast, whether when the plant's ability to uptake calcium is inhibited. This is the example. Phosphorus deficiency in leaf. Symptoms appear at the bottom of the plant. Although leaf may develop either of two patterns, with cool growing having a waterlogged substrate, or when root growth may have been impaired, or the leaf will develop the classical reddish coloration. Another symptom is also common when the growing conditions are optimal but phosphorus is being held. The lower leaf will initially turn a blue green, followed by yellow spotting in between the midrib and secondary vein. With advanced symptoms, the entire leaf may yellow and grayish-green spot will observe. This is the example. That's it from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syafiq bin Hassanzal. So the next point is effect of excessive calcium on plants. Excessive calcium uptake by a plant may lead to disturbance in ion balance, to the disadvantage of other nutrients such as potassium and magnesium, or to change in cytosol pH and a decrease in solubility of some ions. calcium toxicity rarely occurs. High level of calcium can compete with magnesium and potassium uptake, and it will cause their deficiencies. Next, effect of excessive phosphate on plant. The build-up of phosphorus in lawns, gardens, pastures, and croplands can cause plants to grow poorly and eventually die. Excessive soil phosphorus reduces the plant's ability to take up required micronutrients, particularly iron and zinc, even when soil tests show there are adequate amounts of those nutrients in the soil. Phosphorus build-up is caused by excessive use of inorganic fertilizer or the use of compost and manure hides in phosphorus. So with this all information, I hope that it can help Pak Abu to make his decision to use calcium phosphate base in his garden. That's all from us. Thank you.